Your opinion of the departure of the previous superintendent. Who would like to start? That would be the departure of Ms. Beth Coleman.
You know, I was good friends with Beth. Our families were very close, and there was nobody that supported her any stronger than I did. However, that's the past, and it's time to move on. We need to look forward and move forward, and so, you know, that, in my opinion, it is an issue that, although it's kind of a stain on our record, it is part of our record, and we need to move forward.
Anybody else?
I agree wholeheartedly. I said at the beginning when I introduced myself, the past is the past. We can't change it. We can only move forward. It'll be our job to work with the current superintendent and as a board work professionally so that that does not happen again. We need to retain the good people.
I guess on that, I mean, to be honest, I mean, I've talked about, I have mixed feelings about her departure. I do know the one thing that I am very opinion on is how it was all handled was very poorly from a school board perspective, from what I saw on the outside. So, there again, I think it's a good point to move on. It's kind of hindsight, but yet we can't not learn from the mistakes that were made, I guess is my main takeaway there.
Okay, I'm going to, this next one I'm going to paraphrase it just a bit because some of it has already been answered. Right down to the last sentence. Do you have kids or grandkids in the Field school system? Let's just start with you.
I have a junior in high school and a 6th grader in the middle school.
4-year-old that starts next year and an 18-month-old that will start in 4 years.
I do not have any kids in field schools.
I'm sorry. Pretty tough this one.
I have a daughter that's graduating from the school, and in about 5 years I will have a grandson and granddaughter starting here. So,
Again, a son who's in 3rd grade at Brentwood Elementary.
This one has been partially answered already, so let's do it as a quick summary. Do you feel that money should be spent on elementary specials, gym, computer art, library, music, and advanced placement classes?
I personally believe, yes, that those are funds well spent.
Next. Right down the line.
I would agree with that. To be a well-rounded adult, I think you need all of that in there. We're taking too much away from the kids.
May I add one other thing too? My oldest has been taking the ACT, and if you haven't filled out an ACT application online in a long time, they are wanting well-rounded students. They don't just want somebody that stood there or sat in class and, you know, they may have aced all their classes and done great, but they want to know what they did. What were they involved in? How did they give back? Which is another thing that I'm happy to see our students are out there doing. They're doing food drives with coaches. They're out there being involved with lemonade stands. I'd love to see our students do more in the community. They're really great students and they have a lot of drive and they want to give back too. So, but that is something to keep in mind when they're going to fill out applications and different things. They're not just looking at math, language, arts, science, and social studies. They want to know the experiences that they've had throughout their career.
I agree we should have those classes. I think once again, once we get back to, once we see what the money is, where it's allocated, and then if there's some programs that need to be cut or whatever, we bring them to, you know, the community, and let the community, you know, speak and say, do you want these for your kids, do you not? And I determine whether to keep them or not.
I agree also. I think you have to keep those kids, give, especially elementary kids, a wide variety of activities. I can't imagine being a teacher of 3rd grade boy who's been sitting still all day. And so I think gym, recess, special, things to challenge them is important, especially at that age.
You especially got to have recess. I did really good at recess.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that the specials are really part of helping a student become a better rounded person. And I think as part of that, really would be looking at the whole funding situation, why that was a final decision that was made to be able to keep the schools running. I understand that was one decision made, not an easy one. But yet, that's what would be part of really reevaluating that to determine can we afford it or not. That's what I would like to get to the bottom of.
Keep in mind that both Ed and I have to be very neutral during a meeting like this, where we'll be able to hold very many of them. So we're keeping all of our feelings, thoughts, and questions back. So anything I'm reading from this paper or these papers here. To all candidates, how important do you feel the levy is to the school system? They're obviously referring to the one coming up this fall.
Well, I attended the meeting on Monday where the treasurer presented the 5-year forecast to the board. And I also had a conversation with him today because I had a question about it. And
Why are you reaching for that? I'm going to
yeah,
answer the
sorry,
second part of the
thank you.
question
That
because
is
it was
right
being
here.
done.
I just wanted
All right,
to say.
let's time right in with your question.
That-
And what have you done to help pass it?
And what have I done to help pass it? The last levy that was on, my husband and I drove around and put the flyers in the mailboxes. Or not the mailboxes, the paper boxes, because you can't put them in the mailboxes. But I have supported every levy since I've lived here, even one that maybe I wasn't quite sure the type that they put on, but I applauded the fact that they were trying something different because we were struggling so hard to get a levy passed. But when I look at this 5-year forecast and I see where we're at, I'm not sure, to be honest with you, that we're just band-aiding things. And that concerns me because I don't want to have to come back to you and,